First Church. My name is Shaylee King, and most of you may know me, but I'm sure a lot of you don't. I've been going to this church now for about 5 years. I started my 7th grade year, but before I get into that, let me tell you about my life with Jesus. So growing up, God had never really been a thing in my life. I didn't really know who this Jesus guy was, and I didn't really know of anything called the Bible. But I was going down a really bad path, and my uncle thought that getting me into something with something positive and a good all the way around thing would be good. So in my 7th grade year on St. Patrick's Day, I walked in and I was really uncomfortable. I didn't know anybody. I had just came from Texas and it was really different. I didn't know what to do and I just kept to myself. And this guy Tony came running up and he was like, "Hi, this is the youth group," and stuff like that. And I was like, oh my gosh, this guy is crazy. So next thing you know, I'm signing up to go on a trip that they are going to. And it's a week later and we go to the Keys, and going there it was just a really fun time and everyone was in such a good mood, and I had started making friends who were positive and not doing the things that I was getting into. So we get back from this trip and I'm thinking, oh, I could do this, I could follow God, I can just listen to what Tony and Pastor Tom are saying and my life will be great and grand and good and nothing bad will ever come. But wasn't I sadly mistaken? A couple weeks after going to the youth group and stuff, I stopped going and I got into a really bad state of mind and I started hating myself. I was getting bullied a lot in school and I was just really unhappy with my life and I was so confused on why. And I had realized that just because I was going to youth group twice a week and just because I was listening to what Tony and Pastor Tom were saying didn't mean that I was actually living a life of God. So after talking to Miss Jen, Tony and Brittany and Matt about everything, confirmation was right around the corner. And though I was the only high school girl going on this trip, I said, let's go. So I went on it, and just being around a positive thing and actually listening and trying to pursue the life of Christ was amazing. And every year since then I've asked to go back, but I'm not allowed to go twice. So I came back even though I missed some of the classes, but I still got confirmed and baptized by Pastor Tom. And seeing all those people up on stage, people of the church, and even my friends and stuff and my family was just an amazing feeling, and I honestly thought that I could do this. So I came back to church every week and I was doing good. My life had finally turned around. I had finally prayed to God almost every night and just started getting really happy with life again. But just as life goes on, things always happen. I have distanced myself a bunch of times thinking that I wasn't good enough to come to this church, that my life wasn't perfect enough to be involved with people who understood God's love and understood His faith and everything. So through all the ups and downs of my life, I have realized that even when God isn't there, He is, and He does care about you and He does love you, even with all your sins and all the things that you do bad, and we're all equal in His eyes. And He grants us so much that we don't even realize on a day-to-day basis. Without coming to this church, I wouldn't have found who I really was and seen the real person of me, and I wouldn't have become the person I am today thanks to so many people involved in here, such as Tony, Miss Jen, Matt, Brittany, Todd. I mean, just so many people coming here. It's always felt like a big family. No matter how bad my days are, no matter how mad I am at the world, just coming here and listening to what Tony has to say at the youth group and what Pastor Tom has to say on Sundays mornings, it just makes me realize that my life isn't so bad as long as I have God by my side, and my life will get better, and He puts things in my life to test me and to see if I'm going to still continue the life of Christ. It takes a lot lot to build a family like we have here with the youth group and with the people during Sunday service, and it takes a lot of forgiving and a lot of love and a lot of just everything in general, not just the love of God, but the love of other people here. And coming to this church, I think it is like one big family, and I think as long as I have the people like this in my life and God, I think my life will end up being the best it can be. Now looking back on my life, if I had just only came to the youth group and not to any of the events or the trips we've been on or even services, I would have missed out on how big this family truly is. I would have missed out on the amazing adults who just care so much about one another, who take times out of their day to make sure everyone's okay, who just make this family an actual family. So as a closing statement, I want to say thank you to First Church for making me the person I am today, and for showing me that even with all my flaws and mistakes, that I can still have a family who loves me unconditionally. And it has prepared me to go out into the world and do the same thing for others. My name is Shaylee King, and I want to impact the world.